welcome to everybody to INC Radio Central Europe Satellite Studio. My name again is Henry Inocencio. It's been a while. I haven't been here for a while. I'm glad to see everyone here once again. And as always, I'm never here by myself. I'm always here with someone else. So where's my partner? Alicia, are you there?
I'm right here, Henry, and I am so glad to see you again and for you to be here again. We've missed you a lot this past month, but so glad to have you back, and I am also so glad to be back with you. I am Alicia, one of your hosts today, joining in from Heidelberg, Germany, not too far from where Henry is. Time check right now, it is 8:02 p.m. right now, and in the Philippines it is 2:02 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. So, guten Abend, guten Morgen, guten Tag to unseren lieben Zuschauern, and also good morning, very, very early morning to our dear viewers and listeners from the Philippines if you are watching and listening. But of course, we are not alone. We have a lovely guest right in the same place where Henry is from. Um, who is there with us? Can I ask Jana to introduce herself?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm from Kaiserslautern, Germany, and happy to be here again.
And we're glad to have you here as well. We're gonna have fun tonight talking about our very interesting topic. Uh, I think it's a very crucial time to discuss this, especially we're on a platform itself with social media. So we'll be talking today a lot about social media, trying to stay positive in a digital world. And before we get to that, uh, of course, as always, we want to break the ice. So what's our icebreaker game today, Alicia?
Well, as always, we always have a fun icebreaker plan each weekend. And for today, Kuya Tech, if you can show us already our icebreaker for today. Today, our icebreaker is post it or pass, which is a fun scenario game. So, Kuya Tech, can you already show us the first scenario? For those of us who do not know how to play, we have a scenario in front of us, which is the first one right here, and we have to decide, perfect to our social media topic, if we would post the scenario or if we would pass. So, our first scenario is we have a group photo, but one friend has their eyes closed. This is a tough one. Um, but but Jana, what would you say? Would you post this or would you pass?
I would definitely post it. I'm all for candid pictures. I love it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, um, no, it's unfortunate our eyes close sometimes, and that's why we still count one, two, three. I used to wonder, why are you counting? I mean, we don't have wind-up cameras anymore. We don't have 24 shots of exposure. And I grew up in that generation where you try to save your film, and now we have gigabytes of memory cards. So why are you counting one, two, three? Oh, that's why you're counting one, two, three. So you can blink for 2 seconds and open your eyes wide for the third. But yes, post it anyway. It's a funny candid shot. All right, so let's go to the next scenario. Wait, Tech. Selfie from vacation with a cool view. Jonah, what do you think? Would you post that selfie with a cool view?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've done a few selfies, especially because my family and I travel a lot. So definitely post the selfie. Yes.
Sometimes I don't think you even need a cool view. I think you just need to post a selfie just so that other people know that you're okay. It's like a check-in to all of those that you're connected to on social media. Like, here I am. I'm just letting you know that I'm alive and well and everything's okay with me. So
And
I
also
always
for the
post.
memories. And also for
Sorry.
the memories. Also for the memories.
The memories, yes, exactly. You need a view of at least where you are. I mean, if you have that white wall every time, you're not gonna remember when you posted that with that white wall. So yeah, with a cool view, especially with or without a view, you need to still post that selfie. Right, Clear Tech. Let's see the next scenario, please. A photo of strangers doing something weird in public. It's Those who are in the chat, you can also play along with our scenarios. I actually want to read some of your comments. Would you post a photo of strangers doing something weird in public? What's your response before I answer this, Jonah?
I would not post it, especially legal reasons, people complaining that they don't want to be on social media or public or in the public. I would not post it. I'll pass.
I think there's a severity and what do you call that? A range of weird. There's some really cool weird stuff that you just want to share to everybody. And then there's just some weird stuff that nobody needs to see, that image that's already embedded in your memories forever. You don't want that to happen. You don't want to share that. Ah, no. So it depends on the situation. I think um, when or how weird something is. Yeah, you don't want to share uh, too weird. I think that's the right answer. All right, so let's go to the next scenario. Kuya Tech, what else do we have? Before and after photo of when you were younger. Uh, I don't know how I feel about that because I mean for me that variation might be a little too drastic. Uh, well, what do you how do you feel about that, Jonah?
Yeah, it's something fun. I would do it personally. Uh, yeah, it's something fun that also I could share with my kids one day when they look at my social media.
So there are things on my social media when I was younger. Uh, I mean, I was okay, I guess. I mean, it's just I was younger, but actually, you know what? I don't mind. It should be okay. I have nothing. There's nothing in my social media that when I was younger. I think it's just knowing that it was 20 years ago. I'll say 20 years ago when social media started to get big. It was all about logging and it was all about telling about what your day. And then the post got smaller into status updates. And then now it's just photos and photos and photos. Um, but I don't know where I went with that, but photos when you were younger. Uh, I have a lot of posts about when I say, I miss my mommy, happy birthday, mommy, and then I show a picture of myself, her holding me as a baby. No, those are nice. I think those are okay because it's sentiment and it's appreciation to to your mom. What about Alicia? What about you when you were younger, which was not too much, not too far ago? Uh, would you post a photo of when you were younger?
Oh, that's a tough one. I have a lot of pictures from my social media because I for some reason I had social media already when I was 10 years old, maybe earlier, but that was like a shared account with my siblings, so it was like a bunch of pictures of goofy pictures with all of us. So it's on there. I did not delete those. So you can still, if you scroll all the way down, you can still see all those group pictures of me and my siblings. But um personally, yes, I would post it just for throwback moments, especially when I'm posting or people post birthday posts for me. They always, especially my family, they always post embarrassing childhood pictures of me from back then, and they're funny most of the time, but if it's like from my teenage years, which is not too long ago, they're kind of embarrassing. So I'd rather not see those, though those most recent ones. But if it's like baby pictures or from the age 10 and under, then I don't mind. I think those are cute. I think I had cute childhood pictures for sure.
Yeah, I think just the way that all three of us answered, there's a little bit of uncomfortability there, but we all kind of realize, it's actually a nice thing to see us when we were younger and when we were babies. Especially there's meaning behind it. We value our youth, and we have some goofy memories sometimes that it would be a nice throwback to see that. I think we have one more scenario to show for this icebreaker because I think we've already broken the ice, but let's break it one more time. A photo of you sharing your faith. Jonah, I think this is an easy answer. What do you think?
Definitely, yes. Social media is given to us so that we can share our faith. worldwide, and I think that's a positive thing. So yes, definitely post a picture of you sharing your faith, and I've done that before. I continue to do that as much as I can to reach um, the world. Yeah.
So that brings us straight into our topic. That's a good segue because managing your time and energy in social media is something that sometimes we overlook. I think uh, when we're waiting in line for our food, when we go to a restaurant, or waiting in the car or picking up our kids, we take out our phones and all of a sudden we are on social media using our powerful thumb to scroll and see what's going on with the world. There's so much information happening, or so much news and events happening around us, and that now it's become social media. Social media has become the platform for us to ingest and to take in all of this information to see what's going on with the world. But sometimes as you're scrolling, you look at what time it is. Oh, what? It's already late, and you realize your child is knocking on the window. I've been waiting for you to open the door. You just got so stuck on your social media. There are times we get into what we call rabbit holes. We're stuck at night going through social media, trying to feed all this information, trying to see what's going on with our friends and family, and all the different uses for social media. So let's start with our first question of this evening, Jonah. Uh, Personally, how do you manage your time and energy on social media? With your average person nowadays, social media consumes a lot of our time. Are you that type of person where social media has become uh, it takes up a lot of your time, or do you feel like you manage it, the use of it, pretty well?
For me, I personally manage it pretty well, especially because my days are already busy as it is with my three kids and managing the home. So in between the times, like down times, this short amount of times that I have to just de-stress or unload is um, is social media. So, and when I do go on social media, it's to catch up with my family and my friends who are far away, since I live far away from my parents and my siblings and their families. So it's a way for me to get updated on how they are and share pictures with them to let them know how I am here in Germany. So it's just, mainly for family and friends that are on my social media.
Now, let's touch upon that because I believe the founders of some of the major social media platforms, they really developed it and made it for the sake of staying connected with our friends, our family, those who are far away from us. And if you look back into when it first started, because we're of the generation where social media was an integral part of us growing up, staying connected, we saw the evolution of social media. And when one of our friends stopped posting for a little bit, we would kind of get nervous. Like, they used to post every week, every day. You see all the good things happening. All of a sudden, they just stop posting. So, have you ever experienced that where social media has become your means of connecting with your family and friends, and then all of a sudden you stop seeing these posts and you realize I've lost my connection. Where did you go? And you start to wonder, or even vice versa. If you stop posting and people started to wonder, is Jonah okay? Are you there? What happened? Have you ever experienced something like that?
Yes, I definitely have experienced something like that. Especially like what you said, we're in a generation where social media, the internet was so new to us 20 years ago. And so we're actually learning social media as it continues to evolve. And when we do know that we can utilize it as a means for communication and our friends or family has stopped um, posting, I worry. And vice versa. If I stop posting, um, people message me and ask if I'm okay. No, I'm just busy. It's not my priority to post so much. So that's I've experienced that, and it's a way to let our each other know, like, hey, we're thinking of you. So that's also a good thing when you stop posting or someone stop posting, it makes people stop what they're doing, figure out if everything is okay.
And I also think that when, let's say, for example, I go somewhere with my family and I post that picture, you know what? It kind of makes me feel good is when someone likes the photo, is because it's your family acknowledging, okay, message received. I see your photo. Uh, whether if you like it or you put a heart symbol or however you respond or react to it, the fact that I got a response, you know, it's a confirmation. You know, it to me, it's a great feeling to know that my friends and family acknowledge the posts that I have. And just to kind of follow up on that question, those that I see in the chat, especially those who are in Berlin, I don't see you ever. So it's a nice way for me to stay connected to Brother Mario, Sister Irene, and all those in the chat that we regularly see. So this is my way of being connected, remaining connected to you. So I'm always glad to see your names in the chat, and Brother Kirk, Sister Sharon, and all those who are in our chat. Thanks for always logging into INC Radio. And so, and let's continue with that part of the conversation about not seeing certain posts, because really some people need a break from social media. Uh, it can be very, if heavy is the right word, with so much information coming at you from both sides or multiple sides, not both sides, just more than two sides. Um, whether it be from family and friends posting nonstop all the time, but now even news feeds from major news channels and sports and pretty much anything that you're into, there is a social media account, and your news feed gets full of all of this content. Jonah, have you ever needed to take a break from social media because it just became too overwhelming? And if you did, how did that make you feel?
Yeah, definitely. I've had that feeling, um, just scrolling through my feed of just current news, and just information, the trends that's happening. And um, I, coming from a generation where that is not at our fingertips normally, it could be overwhelming. It could add stress also to your life if you continue um, on social media with so much content that you're bombarded with. So the way that I do take breaks. Often I give myself a limit at the end of the day, especially when it's time to go to bed. I have to have my sleep. So I put it on sleep mode, and I set it far away from my bed so that I'm not triggered or tempted to go on social media. So yeah, I've taken breaks many times.
So I'm gonna share this short story because I was gone for a while. I actually went back to Hawaii, and I met up with one of my really close friends. He was part of my wedding, um, and I asked him like, "Bro, you haven't posted for like weeks, months, maybe even years." And we're one of those friends where we don't need to see each other or talk to each other every day. We can just pick up where we left off. And so when we hung out, I had to convince him, bro, you need to start posting because I don't know what's happening with your life. And sure enough, as soon as I flew back to Germany, he started posting again, and that made me know that he was okay, that he would continue to enjoy his time. He posted a nice view of a sunset or his break while he was at work, and it was a good thing to know that he was okay. So he took a good long break. Why did he do that? And really, it's because the same reason. It was just too much information that was happening, going on with all these news events and the bad things that are happening around us. It was just became too much for him. And so one of my emphasis was to remain the connections for us to kind of stay connected to our friends and family, Because one of the good uses of social media, I think, is to let everyone know that you're okay. Those who you let into your circle of your friends and your family, and all those who you hold dear. Especially for our district, a lot of us are far from our family and friends, and when they see the picture, all it takes is a picture to let them know that you're okay, that you're doing fine. Um, but nowadays, social media has become a platform of trends and things that go viral, the most popular things. And so, even this generation, uh, they live by how many likes their photos get, their videos get, and what is viral. And if they don't have enough likes, especially they're trying to go into a bigger public platform, and they start to question, am I doing something wrong? Am i am i not in it? Am I not with the generation? So, Jonah, let me ask you this, because we witnessed the evolution of the internet and social media. um we're at a point, of course, we have our own families, and you know we don't need that validation, but some people are affected by wanting that validation. So, what would you say to those who try to rely on social media to get that validation? They don't use it for maybe what the founders of social media intended, and they start to get the pressure that social media defines what life should be. Is there a way to combat against that?
That's a loaded question. Um, but I will start with staying true to yourself. I feel like as long as you have um, that mentality that you have more important priorities in your life, especially when it comes to your family, your Christian faith, your what you believe in. If those are your priority in life, then the trends on social media or the things that you feel would compensate your satisfaction um, wouldn't be important to you because you have your Christian values and your priorities um, intact. There's more important things, I believe, that will satisfy you than social media and getting on the trends. And you could easily be entrenched in that, like just especially because if you do it on the daily and you some people use it as their form of work, but just like every other person who's working every day, they stop what they're doing for work and they prioritize what's important at home. So that's what I would say about that question.
Yeah. So, um, when people use social media and they're trying to look for something, and I think that, like, for example, let me put it this way: when you go into a store and you don't know what you want to buy, and you end up coming out with more than you had intended to. I think we've all experienced that situation where you only meant to buy maybe a box of sugar or something smaller, and then you come out with a cart probably spending 10 times as much as you had intended. And so the uses of social media, I think, is where I'm leading up to, is that uh, because our generation has seen the evolution of social media, we've learned to distinguish and to find what is healthy uses of social media. Uh, Personally, for me, social media, I use it to find cooking recipes, because a lot of content creators nowadays, they like to post how they make their own version of adobo, how they make their own version of of chicken katsu curry, which maybe one day we'll figure out, or we'll see a video on that. How do you make chicken katsu curry? Um, you know, there's just so many ways of doing the same thing. So I use social media to find the different creative uses to do certain things. What about you, Jonah? What do you use social media for? Are you one of those who just goes in there blindly and starts picking up random things from social media? Or do you have an intent when you use it and you just take what you need because there's value and you have an idea of what you want?
Oh, I definitely search for specifically two things. And when I search those things, my content is all of those. And I keep scrolling and scrolling. So I'm guilty of that. Number one, so I homeschooled my children, currently my preschooler, but my two older ones before as well. And so most of the content I was looking at were creative ways of teaching them. Hands-on activities, different ways of learning, sensory activities, and all that stuff. So there was so much fun ideas that I got from social media and the internet. And second, I love decorating my home. So a lot of interior decorating content as well. And those are the two things that sometimes I find myself scrolling all night. I have to give myself a timer sometimes.
So I just posted in the chat the question: what positive things do you use social media for? Uh, for all of our viewers, feel free to answer that question. There are very good uses for social media. There are healthy ways to use social media, and while we'll wait your answers and we'll read them out loud. Let's ask Alicia, what do you use social media for? Are you one of those who just goes in there and starts picking up everything you see, or do you have like something already in mind when you're using any of the platforms?
It's really funny. It's always a mix of those two exactly. Sometimes I'm just on there, especially since we've talked about it. It's really just for me to connect with my family, especially since a lot of my family is abroad or far away. And sometimes I just use it to, just like you, for recipes. I feel inspirational. Because for me, it's not cooking. It's for me, it's baking. And all those around me know that I am baking is for me my therapy. It's like it's helps me take my mind off of things, helps me not to stay on social media for too long and not go down that rabbit hole that we were talking about earlier. And when I'm on social media, it's more just like not trying to get likes and all that because that's a thing that has gotten really trendy, or things that the youth especially look for is looking for more likes. Oh, this person, I got this many likes on this post. And I admit I had gone down that rabbit hole as well a few years back. But now I just enjoy posting for the great feature about when social media platforms is that they save those memories, and like a year later they, hey, you posted this a year ago, or hey, you posted this 5 years ago, and it's great to look back on that. And honestly, I just post on social media just because I like connecting with my family. And for example, one of my cousins from Australia, she said, oh, you have to take me to Düsseldorf. It looks really nice there. Because me and Henry have been to Düsseldorf recently, not too long ago, and it was really nice. And just showing all these places we get to go to and showing it to my family and friends that I get to reconnect with over the years is that's I think that's the main thing why I love social media is you get to stay connected, and has also the great opportunity for me to connect with others, and also for me to, of course, have the advantage of looking for inspiration in my baking or inspiration in sharing my faith as well. But yeah, social media is so broad and has so many positive advantages that I can't pick one specific thing that I use social media for.
So I think Linda Calvello agrees with you. She posted social media helps connect people. I totally agree. And Kenjin Libanao says I use social media on travel guide, hacks, tips, and tricks on which I can also use on my DIY travel. Definitely. Before I go on any trip, we definitely go on do a search for top 10 things to do on all the different platforms and let's see, Josh Rubik. That name sounds familiar. He says, "I like to see my sports teams updates." Hashtag Kaiserslautern, hashtag Heidelberg. I'm gonna do a out of schedule shout out to my wife. I just did see her comment. I'm looking for it right now. I believe she said, there it is. I use social media to connect with my family and friends since we are in different parts of the world. I'm able to see if they are doing okay. Hashtag Heidelberg. A little biased there because that is my wife. And that is Heidelberg, our locale. So let me just kind of see, make sure we got everyone during my travel. Oh, I like this one from Kenton Libanao as well. During my travel, I like to double check worship service schedule. Social media hashtags help me to reach out to brethren in target local congregations. In that way, I will be on time during the worship service. Hashtag Berlin, hashtag my sin. So, and that couldn't agree with you more. There are ways to use that to reach out to those who you know are in different locations so that you can attend the different worship service schedules. And so, I'm as we close out our topic, we just mentioned some of the healthy ways to use social media. Uh, there are those who, as Alicia mentioned, there are unhealthy ways to use social media. Um, Although sometimes I would like to see if I'm doing a shout out to my mom or to someone on the other end, I want to see them like my shout out post to them as a confirmation. But if we what's the word I'm looking for? If we if we're waiting for the confirmation from hundreds of people or just a large number of people to say that what you posted is uh, you know accepted, validated, if you need that, I think that can be dangerous, negative, because it's that's not what social media for. It was made for. It's not meant to validate ourselves, especially when you start comparing those who have a lot of likes. So, as we close out our topic, yes, we talked about healthy. There are still those who use social media for unhealthy things. Um, we grew up in the generation where we didn't rely on social media, but now it's become part of our day-to-day life. What advice would you give to someone who kind of they rely on what social media says or confirms or sometimes even goes against you? How do you stay strong against what social media uh what's capable of? The negative things that social media is capable of, how do you stay strong against it?
I stay strong with knowing, mentally knowing that social media is there as a way to connect, right? Like what we've been talking about this whole time of connecting. If we take it too far, and it gives us negativity or negative emotions, then we know that we've probably gone in too deep with the, relying on it in our daily life. And when you start relying on something that's not tangible, and you know are depressed about it, then you know that you're relying on something that isn't going to give you satisfaction anymore in your life, which we all know that what we need to rely on is our faith and our Christian values. And if it doesn't align with our Christian values anymore, then we know that it's gone too far, and you do need to take a break from it or seek help to figure out why you're feeling this way, um, and try to find a positive outlook when you do try to get help from it.
Yeah, the thing with trends is that trends will come and go, but you will always be you. So I think that uh, sometimes there sometimes there are those who can put too much emphasis in a single post, and we forget that other person who's looking at the post is gonna really just scroll up to the next post anyway and forget about what you just did. Um, and so there are some posts who you intend to post for to see it. Uh, for example, like we talked about at the beginning of our conversation, just the confirmation that your mom saw the message that you sent to her of happy birthday. Those nice messages. But when it comes to the effect of validation that you need that, that's not what it was meant for. It was really just meant to connect us, to bring us closer together. Technology, especially in our district, we're far away from our loved ones, and it's become part of our tool to let us know that we're okay, to keep us all together, to communicate this is what I'm doing. I got an A+ on my exam, or I got a promotion. You share positive experience with each other, and and for the other uses that we had mentioned, we share, even we share how we cook adobo in a different way. I think I just saw a comment from Sister Rhea Vanessa that she learned to make adobo that way. Uh, Um, and there's another comment, and I'm sorry, I'm a little biased because my wife did say again, Rachel Inocencio, I also use social media to share my faith with family and friends. So, what better way to use social media in the most positive way in this digital world is you share the good news, you share positive things, share something that can ultimately change your life, to edify you, to point you in the right direction, to remind you of all the things that you need to know, uh, the things that you really need to hear. So much noise in social media that sometimes we can get lost of what's going on. It can even scare you. Uh, and I don't want to touch upon this topic too much, but during the pandemic, all we could see was social media posts of everything and anything. But if we have our values aligned and you continue to post positive things, especially sharing your faith, what you post is really what you value. What you're able to share is what you have. So if you're sharing good news and you're sharing good content, then you're someone who is full of something positive that you want to share to the world. And I hope that for all of us here who are members, we are using the platform to share our faith, to share, what values that we have, so that for those that are experiencing something similar to what we're experiencing, or even worse, that you know our values kind of keep us safe. It keeps us safe in this digital world. No, and I'll wrap up the conversation with that. So Alicia, what do we have next for our broadcast?
I know it's hard to wrap up such a great topic and so many positive things to talk about. But we will get back to it in a little bit. But we will first have our station break. But make sure to stay tuned for our other segments. Okay, Tech? Thank you.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Hello po, ako po ang inyong Ate Pearl at samahan niyo kami ngayong Lunes sa Like and Share. Alamin ang mga simpleng tips kung paano mag-surfing sa Baler Aurora. Tikman ang makulay at masustansyang inumin. Mamangha sa ganda ng kalikasan ng Dingalan, Aurora. At sa episode na ito, ating mapapanood ang mga vlogs mula sa distrito ng Aurora. Kaya samahan nyo kami ngayong Lunes sa Like and Share. July 7, 2025, alas 2 ng hapon, Philippine Standard Time. Dito lamang yan sa INCRadio.
Simula July 7. At ngayon sa ating headlines, ang INC Radio news and updates na napapakinggan sa INC Radio ay mapapanood na rin sa INC TV. INC TV! Opo, simula July 7, mula alas 6 hanggang alas 7 ng umaga. Sabay nang mapapakinggan at mapapanood ang news and updates sa INC Radio at INC TV. Kaya pagising sa umaga, news and updates na. Dito sa INC Radio at INC TV. At ito ang News and Updates.
Hello on the Common Select to INC Radio Central Europe Satellite Studio. And since I'm speaking in German, I think you already know what our next segment is, which is German is Fun with our one and only Miss Malou. So lean back and relax and enjoy this week's episode of German is Fun. Viel Spaß!
German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß.
Hello everyone, hallo zusammen. Welcome to German is Fun. Willkommen zu Deutsch macht Spaß. I'm Malou Francisco bringing you another fun session of learning basic German. Our lesson for today is about eating ice cream. We'll be learning words and expressions in German about eating ice cream.
German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß.
Our first word for today, ice cream, ice. Das Eis. Das Eis. Word number 2, ice cream flavors. Eis Sorten. Eis Sorten. And the singular form is Eissorte. Die Eissorte.
German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß.
Strawberry ice cream, Erdbeereis. 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 Pistachio ice cream, Pistachieneis. Pistachieneis. Chocolate ice cream, Schokoladeneis. Schokoladeneis or Choco Ice for short. Vanilla ice cream, Vanilla ice. Vanilla ice. Vanilla ice. What about ice drop? That's the American English, and the British English for that is ice lolly. Auf Deutsch, Stieleis. Stieleis.
German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß.
Ice cream parlor. Eisdiele. Die Eisdiele. Plural, die Eisdielen. There's another word for ice cream parlor. Especially in Europe, this is commonly used, Eiscafé. Eiscafé, das Eiscafé. Plural, the Eiscafés. The Eiscafés. I am in the ice cream parlor. Ich bin in der Eisdiele. Ich bin in der Eisdiele. Or, ich bin im Eiscafé. Ich bin im Eiscafé. We'll continue to have more words and phrases related to ice cream in another lesson. In the meantime, let's have a review of the words and phrases we had today.
German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß.
Our first word for today, ice cream, ice. Das Eis. Ice cream flavor, Eissorte. Ice cream flavors, Eissorten. Strawberry ice cream, Erdbeereis. Pistachio ice cream, Pistachieneis. Chocolate ice cream, Schokoladeneis or Choco Ice for short. Vanilla ice cream, Vanilla ice. Ice drop, Stieleis. Ice cream parlor, die Eisdiele, die Eisdielen. Das Eiscafé, the Eiscafés. I am in the ice cream parlor. Ich bin in der Eisdiele. Or, ich bin im Eiscafé.
German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß.
Well, that's all for today on German is Fun. Deutsch macht Spaß. Thank you for joining me. Danke fürs Zuschauen und danke, dass ihr dabei wart. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Here is Malou Francisco saying, vielen Dank. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.
German is fun. Deutsch macht Spaß.
And thank you to Miss Malou for showing us more words in German, Deutsch, macht Spaß. And so what I liked about that was, me and my family, we just came back from a little short Dusseldorf trip. And what always makes us happy in every trip is when we see Ice Cafe. My daughters light up, and we go straight to the ice cafe, and they always get the choco ice and vanilla ice. So very pertinent video. That kind of just made me happy there. And now, as we proceed to our next segment, please continue to support the INCMV entries from our brethren in Central Europe, who work so hard for our Christian music videos, which will be our next segment to see the production of our INCMV. Kuya?
When I look at the news these days, what was then bad is becoming worse. This is the face of the world today. People's morals have gone absurd. Other religions have lost their power, like the economy, they're in recession. So many people have lost their direction, lost interest in religion, and turned their attention
to the things of this world. But for you and me, let our light shine even more brightly. Why? Because we're INC. Our love for God won't ever grow cold.
Our love for God won't ever grow cold, won't ever grow cold, won't ever grow cold. Our love for God won't ever, won't ever, won't ever grow cold. Our love for God won't ever grow cold, won't ever grow cold, won't ever grow cold. Our love for God won't ever, won't ever, won't ever grow cold. We, the members of the INC, are not in the darkness, but in the light. God didn't appoint us to suffer wrath, to receive salvation through Christ. When He comes like a thief in the night, we should be ready to meet Him in the sky. So let's remain steadfast in the faith. Don't let our love for God grow cold. Our love for God won't ever grow cold, won't ever grow cold, won't ever grow cold. Our love for God won't ever, won't ever, won't ever grow cold. Our love for God won't ever grow cold, won't ever grow cold, won't ever grow cold. Our love for God won't ever, won't ever, won't ever
Wow, such a beautiful performance from our brethren in the country of Switzerland. Thank you so much to all of our viewers and listeners for again supporting our INCMV project these past few months. And if you haven't already shown your love for the music video, make sure to still do. You can still keep sharing and keep liking, keep commenting. It is there forever and it is always there to always look back on, especially with the beautiful landscape of Switzerland. Shout out also to the media production team doing such a great job with the editing and the filming. It is not an easy one, but it is turned out so great. But without further ado, I think we've all been waiting for the winners from our last week's Top 3 Questions Challenge. So, Kuya Tech, can you spare us the suspense and play our winners from last week?
Third place, Dortmund Cluster. Second place, Hamburg Cluster. First place, Berlin Cluster.
It is so nice to see a top 3 with different clusters. So shout out to our new number 2 and our new number 3 for participating in our broadcast last week. And you know, where's Heidelberg? Where's my where's my Heidelberg family? So I hope if you're in the chat or if you're not in the chat, we're gonna share the link for next week. Uh, or actually, I think we might have gotten this week. Looking at all my wife's comments and brother Josh Rubik's comments, it's good to have your spouses in the chat to support you. So hopefully Heidelberg will be there next week. But again, we also like to thank all those who are tuning into our broadcast for INC Radio Central Europe. And now we've come to the point of our broadcast where it's shout out time. So let's start off with Jonah. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
A very special shout out to my son, Caleb Rubik. He just turned 11 years old on July 2nd. He's a centennial baby, 2014. So as we celebrate 111 years in the Iglesia Ni Cristo, we also celebrate my son Caleb's birthday as well. And shout out to all of the centennial babies here in Germany.
And I'll make a shout out to Joshua Rubik as well. Shout out to supporting the technical support for there. And then shout out, actually, before I do my shout outs, Alicia, is there anyone who you would like to shout out?
Of course, shout out to our Heidelberg cluster. I'm sure we will get it next week. But I'm so glad to see all of our clusters participating, especially all the different clusters that have been always tuning in, especially while you've been gone, Henry. But the shout out to everyone, shout outs to my family, and shout out also to our multimedia here in Central Europe. Thank you for all your hard work and can't wait to work on more projects just like our INCMV project.
And for me, as I always do, my shout out, my first shout out goes to my wife, Rachel Inocencio, who is always in the other room just watching and supporting and commenting and always being there in the broadcast, along with my children, Harlan and Rianne. Shout out to those in the Berlin cluster because you are always in first place and you are always the supporters of the INC Radio Central Europe broadcast. So thank you for always supporting our weekly episodes and always making sure that when we see your names, it makes us happy that you are always tuning in. So please continue to tune in. And those who are somewhat new to the channel, please continue to tune in as well. And maybe your cluster will be in the top 3. So at this time, I'd like to thank you all for tuning into our broadcast this evening. All of our viewers and listeners, thank you for watching and listening. I'd like to give our thanks to our district CFO advisor, Brother Scott Augustine, our Assistant District Minister, Brother Jake Eric, and our District Minister, Brother Joel B. Catalan. We'd also like to thank our INC Media Productions Chief, Brother Montreville Boy, our INC Radio Station Manager, Brother Wally Taray, and thank you to our CFO Coordinator and CEBSI President, Brother Angelo Irania Manalo, And most importantly, thank you to the church administration and our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. Thank you all for watching INC Radio Central Europe tonight, and we hope to see you next week. Until then, bye.